let's get into more things that
Ugh.
make Brad crazy. Brad, why don't you cue up the slideshow? Because the Texas Rangers are no longer identifiable as the Texas Rangers. And there's a number of people who have some really strong opinions about this. Brad and I fit that category.
Yeah.
And I want to
Yeah.
know, Brad, I'm going to give you an opportunity to really unload here
Okay.
because I think you're less happy about this than Nike hoped you'd be anyway.
Yeah. Well, so let's go through this first. I have a whole breakdown of everything here from Nike. Okay.
Okay.
So the TX on the right breast, okay, that's influenced by the Gothic lettering of the Dallas Eagles logo with a spur honoring the DFW Spurs. You can kind of see it there. I think you can see it a little bit better in the second one. No, you can't really. But
No.
honestly, like you can see it there on Corey Seager there a little bit more. It just kind of crosses the X. It took me a little bit to notice it, but that was the first. That was like the one thing that I saw that I was like, okay, that makes sense. But knowing like what this is all, I guess, tied into now helps with that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
then you look on the side of the hat, right here on the right side of the hat, and then on the back, like where the tag would be on the back of the jersey, there's a 4 with a star and a 21. April 21st, it says, is a vital date in the history of Texas. That's when they got their independence from Mexico. And as well as baseball in Texas, I think it said that that was when they had the first, it was like the first state championship or something like that. It was 421. And then they're going to debut these jerseys on 421 as well.
Oh, okay.
And then down by the jock tag, you can't see it in here because they're tucked in. I don't understand why they're doing this because you can't see it when these players are wearing it. Like I think you said before, like these are more. This part is more for like wearing around town. It says "Dream the Big Dream." It says a sentiment of Arlington Mayor Tom Vandergriff, whose tireless efforts helped bring an MLB team to this city. Now, if you go down just below the belt on the left side of the pants, you can see there is the state of Texas. You can't hardly see it in the picture just because it is really tiny on the pants. But it's the state of Texas with a spur wrapped around it, kind of like a horseshoe would be on a game of horseshoes around the panhandle up there. It says reimagined. It's a reimagined DFW Spurs logo. Honors the team that played in Arlington and proved this region could support an MLB team. And then down the side of the leg, there's piping that's rope braid piping.
Yeah.
And that is a nod also to the DFW Spurs. I think that's pretty cool. You can't really see it, but I like that because that makes perfect sense for the area, right?
Yeah.
But this is the one that's ridiculous to me. I'm going to go on over to the next slide here. You
Okay.
can see it there. It's kind of in a shadow. But this thing on the right sleeve, Brig, do you know what that is called?
I don't know what it's called.
They're calling it a Peagle.
A Peagle! No!
Nike has created a mythical beast called a Peagle. It is a combination of a panther and an eagle, and it was the combination of the Dallas teams, the Dallas Eagles and the Fort Worth Panthers. So they have created this Peagle to put on the
They
right
called it.
sleeve.
They actually called it a Peagle.
They are actually calling it a Peagle,
That's not a
not to be
Reddit
confused
thread.
with a dog. It's like a beagle and a Pyrenees or whatever. Not to be confused with that. This is a mythical creature. That is what I take the biggest umbrage with in this entire thing is you cannot just go making up mythical beasts that have nothing to do with this team and putting it prominently on the sleeve. Like, what are you doing?
I'm calling it a Peagle.
Good golly. And then
Like my
here's the other thing too.
6-year-old would have come up with the name Peagle.
I know. And look at this, Brig. This is another one of the big problems I have. So first off, you know how I feel about colored pants.
I
Gray
know
or
how you
white.
feel.
Gray or white or cream. If you're going to go crazy, go cream. Okay? Don't go black. I'm sorry. This makes them look like cowboys, which I get.
Yeah.
But Tombstone is there in Arizona. Anyway, pick a font. That's my other thing. Pick a font because they went with that Gothic for the logo, but then they went with something else on the numbers. And I get it's all tributes to like baseball in Texas, everything like that, right?
Yep.
But maybe tone it down a little bit, settle down a little bit, and pick a font. Just one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really messy and disorganized and freaking Peagle, man. Like
The Peagle.
How do you feel about it, Brig?
I think they're rocket fire.
Do you really?
No.
I hate them. Because honestly, I'm worried now. Seattle, the Mariners are getting theirs on May 5th, and I'm scared
5th.
now.
Right.
I'm really worried about what I'm gonna see.
You should be worried. I will admit I don't hate them as much as everybody else does. I'm seeing lots of real irate, comments coming through, but the black and red on cream, I think, is a sharp color combo.
Oh, the color scheme is fantastic. I love the black and the red. I think it's great on the cream.
I don't hate the black pants, honestly. I think it does come down to that cattle roper, type thing, and I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, given the location, the history, etc., I mean, the DFW area is on your way to think Abilene, Kansas, and other places is like historically one of the most well-used cattle herd trails in the history of American beef or whatever.
I was kidding about the tombstone thing, by the way, for everybody who's listening who might be upset in Texas. That was a joke.
I'm here to provide a dissenting opinion. I think so. I don't hate the black pants. I love the rope braid up the side. I think that's
sweet.
The
best part of the pants. I think the rope braid is really cool.
Yep. I wish they had gone with a different the TX logo sort of is irrational to me. I don't love it. The spur is fine, but it's so like they always say the devil's in the details or the beauty's in the details, and it's really where the details matter. And I agree with that, but only if the details, pull it together. Yeah, this doesn't really pull it together. This is more of a from a distance, it's a linear distraction for me. It just breaks up the eye, takes your eye in different directions. I don't love it. I do think that having the numbers though elevated to the breast line instead of down, kind of like they are a lot. I do like that detail, and I like it because it's odd. In baseball, you usually see them counter position, right? One up, one down.
Yeah, typically, it's the logo up, the number down.
Yeah, this I love, and I love that because it's different. So for all you haters out there, I think that the reimagined DFW Spurs logo on the hip is lame. I think that something different would have been great.
Honestly, from a distance, I feel like it looks like a dove.
Yeah, it's not bad. The where it's placed, the size of it, the color it's in, all that's fine. It's just doesn't do it for me. But I'm not a local, so maybe this does it for the locals, and that's great. But the Peagle, man, that is just they could not have missed harder on the Peagle. I'm super disappointed. And I get what they're saying. I get what they're going for. And honestly, I wonder which happened first. Did they come up with the Gothic lettering and then realize they needed a gargoyle? Or did they come up with a gargoyle and then realize they could use Gothic lettering? And I don't know which it is. So,
I think they started with the Gothic lettering, honestly, because it's like I said that was from the Dallas Eagles logo, and then they included the spur. So yeah, I think they started with the Gothic and then went to the gargoyle.
Because they need each other. I feel like they can't stand on their own as is, and they're both sort of awkward on their own. But together, like this angle makes a lot more sense. And I feel like if the explanation had been different, I wouldn't hate it so much. But the explanation's just awful. I don't even mind that they created their own mythical creature. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that
I think it's weird. I'm sorry, but like that's Nike being like, we can do
anything we want.
Exactly. To the point of rewriting history.
Like it's the Rangers. Couldn't you have done some like a Caballero or I don't know, some sort of spin? I don't know, man. Like there's got to be a different way.
I feel like they tried to cram too many things into one, and it's. Have you ever watched Parks and Recreation?
Yeah,
You know the camel episode
I don't
where
remember the camel
so
episode.
the premise of the camel is that it's a bunch of people who were trying to create an animal, and they just put it all together, and that's why hey you get a camel. And
Okay.
so on the episode, they are all trying to do work together to make art, and they just kind of crammed it all together into one. And this guy's like, it's a camel. It's a bunch of different ideas put into one, and it doesn't really work together, and it looks weird. And that's what I feel like this is. It's a camel that they had so many ideas they wanted to use, but they couldn't land on like one or two, so they just threw them all in. It feels really inconsistent.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Kind of a mess.
It's a
But
mess.
we'll see. We'll see how it looks on the field, because some of them I feel like
That's
look
right.
better on the field than they do in the pictures. There was one that I saw the other day. I can't remember what it was, but I know the Giants looks better on the field than it did in the pictures.
For sure.
And then, yeah, there was one that I was really upset at. The Rockies. They're not wearing the green pants anymore. They're wearing the white pants, and it looks a whole lot better. Looks a lot better on the field than it did in the pictures. So,
well, even
maybe it'll look
Boston.
better.
I was watching Boston play the other day, and they had their yellow jerseys on, and they were fine.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. But it took me 2.5 years or whatever now to be okay with them.
Long time.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of weird.